Episode 2. Billionaire's Secret Daughter, The Truth, Hidden for 21 Years. Have you ever looked at someone you trusted and suddenly realized they had been hiding the biggest secret of your life? Emma Carter was about to experience exactly that. The broken coffee cup lay scattered across the cafe floor. Nobody moved. The customers watched in complete silence. Even the sound of rain outside seemed to disappear. Emma couldn't take her eyes off the man standing in front of her. Richard Hayes. A stranger who had walked into her ordinary life and destroyed it with a single sentence. Alexander Kingsley is your father. Those words echoed inside her mind again and again. They couldn't be true. They had to be a mistake. Her father was dead, at least. That was the story she had believed since childhood. Slowly, Emma turned toward the kitchen. Her grandmother was standing in the doorway. She looked pale. Her hands trembled so badly that she had to hold the edge of the counter to keep herself from falling. Emma had never seen her like this before, not even on the day they buried her mother. "Grandma." Emma's voice was barely a whisper. "Please tell me he's lying." For a long moment, the old woman didn't answer. She simply closed her eyes. A single tear rolled down her wrinkled cheek. That tear told Emma everything. Her heart sank. "No," Emma whispered. "No." "You knew." Her grandmother slowly nodded. "I did." Emma felt the air leave her lungs. 21 years. 21 birthdays, 21 Christmas mornings. Every family photo, every bedtime story, every memory had all been built around one lie. "Why?" Emma asked. Her voice cracked beneath the weight of betrayal. "Why would you hide something like this from me?" Her grandmother walked closer. She reached for Emma's hand. Emma pulled away. The small movement hurt more than any words could. "I promised your mother." The old woman's voice shook. "She begged me to protect you." "Protect me from what?" Emma demanded. "The truth. The Kingsley family." The cafe became silent once again. Outside, rain continued falling across the empty street. Richard remained perfectly still. He had heard this conversation before, years ago. He knew exactly where it would lead. Emma looked at him. "What kind of family are they?" Richard took a slow breath. "They own one of the largest business empires in the world. Private banks, technology companies, luxury hotels, shipping ports, investment firms. Their wealth is measured in billions." Emma almost laughed. It sounded like something from a movie. She looked down at her faded work apron. Coffee stains covered the front. Only an hour earlier, she had been worrying about next month's rent. Now someone was telling her she belonged to one of the richest families on Earth. It felt impossible. Richard reached into his leather briefcase. He carefully removed an old photograph. Its edges were worn with age. He handed it to Emma without saying a word. Emma stared at the picture. Time seemed to stop. A young woman smiled brightly into the camera. It was her mother. She looked happy, happier than Emma had ever seen her. Standing beside her was a tall man with dark hair and kind blue eyes. His arm rested gently around her shoulders. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at Emma's mother, as if she were the only person in the world. Emma turned the photograph over. A handwritten message covered the back. "Forever begins with us." Emma's fingers began to shake. She looked up. "That's him?" Richard nodded. "Yes. Alexander Kingsley." Emma swallowed hard. "He looks—" She stopped herself. "He looks like he loved her." Richard answered quietly. "He did. More than anyone knows." Emma frowned. Then why wasn't he there when I was born? Richard didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked toward Emma's grandmother. The old woman lowered her head. Finally, Richard spoke. Because someone made sure he never knew you existed. Emma froze. What? Your mother disappeared before she gave birth. She changed her name. She left every address, every phone number, every friend. She vanished. Emma's eyes widened. She ran away. No! Richard's expression darkened. She was running from someone. A chill ran through Emma's body. Who? Richard looked toward the rain-covered window. The Kingsleys have many enemies, but the greatest danger, he paused, sometimes comes from inside the family. Before Emma could ask another question, her grandmother suddenly grabbed Emma's wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong. You have to listen to me. There isn't much time. Emma looked confused. What are you talking about? The old woman reached beneath her sweater. Slowly, she removed a delicate silver necklace. Emma had seen it before. Her grandmother had worn it every single day for as long as Emma could remember, without hesitation. She placed it into Emma's hand. I've been waiting 21 years to give you this. Emma stared at the necklace. It was simple, old. Nothing about it looked valuable. What is it? Her grandmother forced a smile. The reason you're still alive. Emma looked up in confusion. At that exact moment, Richard's phone vibrated. He answered instantly. The color drained from his face. No, he whispered. They're already here. Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Who's here? Richard didn't answer. He walked toward the cafe window. Outside, 3 black SUVs slowly turned onto the street. Their headlights cut through the falling rain. Each vehicle stopped with perfect precision. The engines remained running. The doors opened, one after another. Men dressed in black stepped onto the sidewalk. They moved like trained professionals. Calm, silent, disciplined. None of them carried umbrellas. Rain poured over their suits. Yet none of them seemed to notice. Richard whispered only 4 words. They found you first. Emma's heartbeat exploded. What do you mean? Before she could finish, one of the men looked directly toward the cafe window. He smiled. Not a friendly smile. The smile of someone who already knew how this story would end. Richard reached inside his jacket. When his hand came back out, he was holding a handgun. Emma stared at him in horror. Richard's voice remained calm. Emma, whatever happens next, don't let go of that necklace. Outside, the leader of the group slowly raised his hand. Every man behind him stopped moving. The street fell silent. Then, he pointed directly at the cafe.